Hello, comic fans. Here's Earl Grey. Cheers. I got Madman, the Library Edition, Volume 1 in the mail 3 days ago from now, and I've already read it from cover to cover, so I'm really mad when it comes to this character. I love him madly, this alter ego of his creator, Michael Allred. And this tome is really beautiful. More than 660 pages, perfect binding, oversized. Yeah, like all these the other Dark Horse library tomes, you can't go wrong with Dark Horse library editions, I guess. And Dark Horse seems to be Michael Allred's newest outlet for his creativity. He published a lot of stuff with Image and Oni Press. And I have here a stack of stuff by him. So a lot of this stuff will go on eBay, I guess, because no need for double dipping really. And I need a bit of the money to invest in these tomes, which clock in at almost 100 euros. Yeah, but I don't have a choice when it comes to this baby over there. So, yeah, let's show you quickly the other stuff that I have from Madman, so that we can come to this library edition. This is a 3D comic book, and if they will not include this stuff here in 3D, in a 3D version in the book, I will keep this book for sure. And then we have different trades. This is even a free comic book, or Image First, Madman Comics, which is of course included in the tome over there. And here we have, yeah, 2 trades from Oni Press. Trades by Image, if I'm not mistaken, yes. Collecting the stuff here. X-Ray Robot was the last comic book series by Michael Allred, which I have actually in comic book form. This was story-wise bit convoluted, and yeah, story-wise really not the best of all stories. And I'm almost sure that this will be continued in the library edition, even though there was no Madman in it, but it says the madmaniverse library, so there's a Madman universe in Michael Allred's head, and there is a 3-issue series within this tome here that has no Madman at all. So yeah, this is an outlet not just only for Madman, but I'm pretty sure that It Girl and the Atomics, this superhero team up, will be included there. And we have there our guy Madman in it. So yeah, most probably I will keep this 20th anniversary monster Madman with lots of pin-ups from different creators, even here Frank Miller or Mike Mignola. So this book here is quite a beauty, but lots of these pin-ups, maybe even all of them eventually, will find their way into the Madman Library Edition, even though, of course, size matters, and even though the Library Edition is the usual Dark Horse Library Edition size, so it's oversized, but it's not by far not as huge as this 20th anniversary monster edition. So I guess it's just a question how much money I can fetch with this beauty here, but most probably I keep it. So now to the tome here, the real baby. For all of you who don't know about Madman, here's the origin story, drawn in a more rougher, not so refined, earlier style by Michael Allred. And here we have some pin-up by Richard Sala, with Madman floating over there. Basically, he got in a car accident and was Frankenstein by a crazy professor or doctor. And even though his nickname or his name, Frank Einstein, is an homage to Frank Sinatra and Albert Einstein. But of course, it's clear where this name comes from. But after that, he always looks for his origin, who he actually is, because or he actually was, and this is some underlining trope throughout the story, that he is not really self-secure and thinks of him as ugly, and is obviously with his bluish skin and all these cars. So yeah, as I said it here, this is not all Michael Allred in his prime style, but an earlier, rougher style. But psychologically and emotionally, Madman, aka Frank Einstein, is saved by his girlfriend Jo, and as you can see here. So what this series really makes so great is that it's a love letter to his wife, Laura Allred, who is actually the co-creator and takes care for the colors. So yeah, he's saved by his love for this girl. And by the way, this is kind of a neat thing here, flip book movie of Madman dancing around. So yeah, and this roots the stuff here and makes it a bit deeper, even though this is a totally silly, pulpy story with, let's see, time travel, of course, and yeah, dinosaurs, robots, as I said it before, mad scientists and stuff. Very light-hearted, silly, whimsical story, but it is rooted within these psychological parameters, if you will, of Michael Allred's mind, but never forgets that it's a comic book, like you can see here. And as you see here as well, that there are lots of influences going on, and it's not a far-fetched to say that this is pretty much Möbius-inspired stuff here. But you see the importance of Laura Allred's colors as well. And no wonder that this stuff here has appeal for lots of comic creators, like Frank Frazetta, who contributed a pin-up here. And this looks here pretty Richard Sala to me. And you can't get more pulpy, I feel, especially with the hairdo of the lady over there. So, and here this is a typical composition, the way the characters dance around, even though they're not in a good situation right there, but you have the impression that they are somehow groovy of sorts. And groovy is, of course, one of the adjectives that could be applied to each and every page of Michael Allred. Look at the page here. And this is Mott the Hoople, a friendly alien. Like almost all of the characters, very inside their core, they are for good characters, and even the villains are not so horrible, even with some exceptions. And look at this page here. This is a cooperation between Michael Fiffe and Michael Allred himself, with Buddy Bradley and Luba from by Gilbert Hernandez, taking a beer with Major Grubert by Möbius, and Mr. Natural, and you can go all the way through here. And the Happy Clown is there, and Wonder Warthog even, and Hellboy, and the Savage Dragon, and yeah, really a wonderful meeting of familiar and more out there characters. So I'm recently or always have been interested in sound words, how you convey sounds in comics. And here's a long fighting scene between this muscle man and Madman. And spoilers alert, in the end they will figure out that both of them are actually on the same page. But they had to fight a while without really hurting each other. But what this sequence here makes it especially interesting for me is the amount of different sound words that convey here the action. And if you look at it, and if you keep looking at it, Michael Allred really is a master in terms of creating these sound words that really fit the way of the action. So, and here we have a crossovering with the other Dark Horse finest, Hellboy. So, and Jeff Darrow and his big guy. This is really a longer sequence, which they fight together. And towards the end, it becomes even sillier because we meet Terrence the Vomit Man. And I guess this is maybe a self-portrait of Michael Allred himself talking with his creation. Pull your head out, son. So it's pretty fitting that he calls his creation son. Later on, this creator guy or god guy looks a bit like Clint Eastwood. So I'm not so sure if Michael Allred meant himself, but I'm pretty sure because of the sideburns and all. So, and to top it all, we don't have already mentioned Vomit Man, haven't I? But I want to give you some. Finally, he's shrunk down and put into this glass here, and pretty significant for Michael Allred's way of storytelling. All these dangers are eventually they are shrunken down, minimized. There always are solutions for these crazy dangers and silly adventures. And in contrast to X-Ray Robot, in which I found the writing pretty dense and almost uptight, and Michael Allred always wanting too much out of a few pages. Here they've in Madman, at least so far, and as far as I've read other stories of the series, they have a fantastic flow, really comic booky, and he takes his time to when it's needed and speeds up when it's needed as well. So here we have some guy squeezing out his its pimples, which is a really awkward situation because Batman at this point in the story is minimized to the size here, so he really has to suffer of the squeezed pimple that is splattered on that mirror, and there we have the guy who's at the next pimple. So yeah, you can see we have reached a level of silliness that hardly can't be topped. So somehow it's okay that this arc here is completed in a way towards the end here. Here we have a cover by Alex Ross. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, one Madman pin-up by, can you guess it? By Seth. Here I thought this panel here to be a bit of a foreshadowing to X-Ray Robot. And there's maybe a hint that we, the inspirations for Madman go way back, maybe to Metropolis, this old black and white movie from whenever it was, the 20s. This feels pretty Metropolis to me. And maybe this is no spoiler, even though this is the last page of the whole story, but a good example for the humor of Michael Allred. That's when I saw The Hand of God. Was I dead? Almost dead? Was it my time? I guess not. So, and here's a little pin-up comic, so to speak, by Peter Bagg, and a story that has no madman in it, but it's about, here a pin-up by Daniel Claus, but it's drawn a bit in a different style and is more realistic, start at least, in which we find the ISS being hijacked by some terrorists. And we have the Steve Martin looking like President of the United States. And the case will be solved by this gang of superheroes. In 3 issues that are included in this tome here as well. So what do we do now? Here we have 2 pin-up. It's called, I would say, comics. Comic pages by Eric Powell and Frank Quietly. This is, especially the one by Frank Quietly is a pretty intelligent play with the fourth wall here. Because, as the Silver Surfer always does, Frank Einstein is a character that always questions himself and his role in his world, which makes him a bit deeper and psychological and interesting. And here we have Eric Powell's The Goon version of it. And even though I just compared Madman with the Silver Surfer, it's obvious that there are lots of differences. I mean, you have to read Michael Allred's version of the Silver Surfer. This was a fantastic series. But he rides a bike instead of this surfboard, and sometimes he takes a pee. And I haven't seen the Silver Surfer doing that. And when he fights, his weapon of choice is his yo-yo, which makes him so fantastic, and his ability to love and his affection to Joe. This is his other superpower, I feel. And when he's caught by these gangsters, he gets them into some discussion about gun control and so on. It has so much heart, so much personality, this creation of Michael Allred, that I really look forward to the next volumes of the library edition. I think, there have to be more than just one additional to this series here, especially if they will include all the other stuff like the It Girl comics and maybe even X-Ray Robot. So, yeah, that's all for now, folks. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.